Well, it behooves me to thank Kristian Jack and Victor Montaliani for giving us a lot more to talk about. And I think there's a lot of people whose ears perked up. Maybe three groups isn't going to happen. Also, just the flex. Or my friend Arsene Wenger, he loves to talk football, doesn't he? Just my buddy, I text him all the time. Ollie, you think about that. I think a lot of people went hysterical for a lot of very good reasons when the idea of three-team groups was floated. Why do you think it would be so awful?
Well, there's two big problems. The first one is that you lose the third match day, which is arguably the most exciting part of the World Cup, where teams obviously play simultaneously to try and get out of the group. We saw the drama that provided with teams watching each other's scores and seeing what was going on in the other game, chasing goals and so on. It's as dramatic as it gets, I think, outside of the semi-finals and the final of the World Cup. And then the other issue is that if you go to a three-team group stage, you obviously have a problem where, because you can't play simultaneously, the two teams that play the last game in the group know exactly what they need in order to qualify from the group, right? Because the other team is done. So that creates all sorts of potential problems in terms of teams maybe playing out a calculated 0-0 draw with each other if they could both get through with 1 point, and you open up to potentially more malicious things like match fixing and so on that could become a possibility in those scenarios. So I think it opens up a lot of problems in terms of ethics and the kind of competitive aspects. It's also just less exciting, and that's why I think that in particular coming out of this tournament they'll be forced to change it and go back to 4.
Jordan.
Okay, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Take a breath, everybody.
Look, no, I know. At 30 seconds, bear with me, boys. Korea Republic and Uruguay. Look at that last match or those two matches. Like, this is what you want. Every 4 years a World Cup happens. We want the drama. We don't want guys playing. You play one day and then you play another day and you gotta wait to play. We want people playing simultaneously. We want the drama. We want Suarez crying at the end, even though his teams are winning, but it wasn't enough to go through. That's what we want. We want Costa Rica being able to go to the round of 16, but then, Germany come back and score. But that all happens in the last day. What I'm trying to say is we want the drama. We want all the smoke. If you take that away, it's just taking away something that's been there for a century. And it's the tradition that we need. Like, we love the drama. And I personally need it every 4 years. I need it. Well, so don't take it away.
I'm sorry.
Don't do that to Jordan.
I am very sorry to break it to you, Jordan, but that model's being broken. And you're not going to get it no matter if there's 3 or 4 teams or more than that in a group at the upcoming World Cup, because there's 48 teams. I've gone through all the different permutations. By the way, even 40 teams would have complicated things. Nothing will be able to replicate what we get at a 32-team World Cup. So the best thing that I can see that they'll probably do is they'll break it into 12 teams of 4, and they can almost make 2 separate sides of the bracket, and then you're left with what things are like at the Euros, at a 24-team Euro, where the 6 group winners go on, and the 6 runners-up plus the top 4 second or third place teams. So you're going to have third place teams. What is the alternative? Because I have not seen any other way of going on to do this, because I was going to suggest that that's probably the best way of doing things is you break it up like the Euro, have 2 separate sides of the draw, and the winner of each side comes through and plays in the final.
I've got an alternative. This is the best structure I've heard. Maybe there's an issue here that I'm not aware of, but you go to 12 groups of 4 teams each. Mm-hmm. The best 8 group winners get a bye and go straight through to the round of 16. And then the other 16 teams that you're left with, so 4 group winners and the runners up, they go into an extra rounds in between, if that makes sense. So you take the 4 worst group winners and the
Garrett's
12
literally
runners up.
Live doing the math right now.
The 12 runners up, they go into a second round of the tournament, which knockout ties, obviously. So that produces 8 teams. And then those 8 teams play against the best 8 group winners in a round of 16. That, I think, is probably the best way of doing it.
So you still just have 24 teams moving on and advancing.
Yes.
Correct.
You just create like an extra round and give the best 8 buys to the.
Do you know how many games that would like the model that I kind of was advocating for? It's 104 games.
Yeah.
That's up from 80.
It's complicated.
It's just, I'm not sure what that means. I get, because you'd add, more groups, more games, plus that extra round, as you heard Victor say, like this this tournament just can't continue to go on and on and on and on. Either way, Ollie, like I actually don't mind that. Like that makes a lot of sense to me. And I think I'd advocate rewarding the teams that go on and win their groups the most convincingly.
Yeah, it incentivizes that.
And it makes that last game even more, because even if you've already won the group, you want to finish in the top 8. So what Spain did, what Portugal did, what France did when they'd already got on and clinched to win the group after 2 games, there's still incentive there. So I like that element of it. That's probably the best way, Ollie. Well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Alex. I know that's entirely your idea. So well done to you and you alone for just coming through with that. Regardless of how they would do 4 team groups. That is right there. Dear God. What level of confidence do you have, Ollie, that we'll see 4? Is it platinum level of confidence?
I think we will. I think we have to. Like, I just don't think 3 in the groups is viable. Like, whether it's what I just suggested there or something different. Like, I think any alternative that gets you 4 team groups is probably going to be better than the 3 team group idea. So they've got time, like Victor said there. They've got the power to change it if they wish to do so. I think it makes too much sense not to, unless there's some big reason in terms of the calendar and compressing the amount of games that you need that we're not seeing here.
Just really quickly, it would suck for any country. You go on and qualify for the World Cup. Boom, you lose your first game. Oh, we only have 1 more. It just sucks. Like, you need to, if you make it there, you have to play at least 3 games. People are traveling from all sides of the globe, right? To go on and support their team. Give them more than 2 games.
Jordan, do you agree? 4 groups of 4, does that seem like the way it's got to be?
Yeah, I think so. The 2 gentlemen brought up great points, and 4 is the way. I think also just to focus on playing a World Cup and only playing 2 games and then potentially going home is ludicrous. Like, it is a tournament set up to at least to be for a month or a bit over a month, and you play maybe in a span of a week and then it's over. That's insane to me.
Canada was at the World Cup for like 8-9 days, right? 8 days they played games.
That's quick.
They're done.
It goes by in a flash. Jordan, I want to pick that big brain of yours for some good ideas, because I know you're a man that has a lot of them. If you were in Victor's shoes, or you were the president of FIFA and you could control some changes for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, what would you like to see implemented?
President Wilson.
President Wilson has a great ring to it.
Would you protect me, Wheels? Would you take a bullet for me? That's the question.
Of course, absolutely.
We'd have to get Jordan
went straight to the heart.
Sure.
I think he wants some more intimidating security detail than this guy right here, though. I'll tell you that much.
Oh man, I think 2 things. I have a small cry and a big cry. My small cry would be for Golden Goal to come back, because I'm tired of seeing extra time games and guys just playing, we're going to go to pens and then taking these rubbish penalties. I'd rather seeing people flood the pitch and Golden Goal. I know it's a small cry, it probably won't happen, but it's just a personal preference. Anyone for FIFA listening, just put that in for me. That'd be great. A big one would just be VAR needs to get sorted. Like, it can't be 45 seconds to look at goals and all this nonsense. It needs to be faster. It needs to be better for 2026. And that's about it.
Jordan Wilson's trying to get Drew Fisher out of a job for the next World Cup. Do you hear that, Ollie?
No, not at all. Do you want my changes?
Of course I do.
Oh, okay. Well, my changes would be make fewer changes. Like, we've had VAR introduced.
You want my changes? You're not going to get them.
We're changing the format. Like, just stop. Like, let it breathe for a few years. How about that? Like, that would honestly be what I'd like to see at this point. Is we've had so much upheaval to the best competition in world football for me. Let's just take a few additions to breathe, let it settle in, and then maybe we can make some adjustments from there.
Yeah. FIFA president Gareth Wheeler.
I think they made good changes. I like the 5 substitution rule as well. I don't think it's affected the game too much. And the added time, or the time added on that's being applied to this
brilliant.
World Cup. Thank you. It's been great. Just quickly in defense, of the anti-golden goal rule, the reason why they took it out, because it's even more boring when it's a golden goal, because teams play not to concede. At least you have that second chance. You're going to concede, and over the course of the 30 minutes, you have a chance to punch back. I think it's more about the teams that we've seen play in those frames of time rather than the rule itself. So I have no problem with it. I actually, for the second time, this is a new record. For the second time in the segment, I'm on board and aligned with Oliver Platt.
Missed opportunity for you 3 to not bring in the MLS old school 35-meter run-up penalty shootout. It was there for you. You were president. You could have done anything you wanted. Some great ideas, and in Ollie's case, some great non-ideas. Just leave it alone, says Oliver Platt.